guess maybe let's start at the beginning if we could. You were born in South Whitley, Indiana, and raised
Right.
on a 400-acre farm.
Right.
And now, was it your dad who taught you how to play the guitar?
Yes, my dad taught me some of the guitar chords, and that got me started on my way to into the music entertainment part when I was pretty young age.
And had you already been singing before you started to play the guitar, or did that come after learning some
Yes,
chords?
I had been singing since I was probably, say around 8 or 10 years old. I was leading hymns at the church. It was a little country church up the road from our farm, and I was the song leader, hymn leader, and my sister helped me, and our mother was the piano player. So that's the part that really got me started, I guess you might say.
It was really a sort of a family ordeal, I guess, music.
Yes, it really was, because everyone in our family loved music, and it was something that we did all the time in our spare time, was just play and sing.
And so you began to sing at local coffee houses and high school events, and as well as your way through college, and when you obtained a degree from Indiana University in elementary education. But it was really after college, if I understand correctly, that you chose music as a career, right?
Yes, it was, because actually, in the middle of my college years, I dropped out 2 different times to go to get a singing job, which was singing commercials. So I guess it was kind of combined in with my college years, doing the commercials and the jingles and working in the studios. But my mother insisted that I complete my college degree, so I would have that behind me, which I did. And at that point, I got the college degree and then pursued the singing world full time.
Oh, okay. I guess probably from there, you did have a very successful career singing jingles for the marketing industry, and you sang
Right.
for advertising giants as United Airlines and Coca-Cola and 7-Up, McDonald's, and just a whole bunch. Yeah,
Right.
Do you have a most memorable jingle that you sang? Not to put you on the spot.
Probably Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
Sure, that's always a great one.
And it went like this. I'll sing it to you, okay?
Oh, sure.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you. Thank you
Fabulous.
very much.
Fabulous. Just fabulous.
Yeah, that was my claim to fame, singing about fish.
And then in about 1975, that's when you decided to move to Nashville, right?
Right.
Where you became
Around that time, yes.
where you first became in demand as a background vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
And would you mind telling us a few of the other country legends that you have sung background vocals for?
Oh, yes. Actually, it was great. When I first started out, it was people like Dolly Parton and Porter Wagner, and then it was Ronnie Millsap and Barbara Mandrell and many, many others. They
Conway
were all,
Twitty?
just really doing great in their careers, and I was a studio singer and a backup singer, so I was in a vocal group, and we would go in and do harmony on their records.
But it was really your work as a background vocalist on several recordings by Johnny Duncan that first brought you to national attention as far as on the country music scene.
Yeah, that's true. It was Johnny Duncan records, because when we sang back up in the studio, we sang harmony on one of his records, and they asked me to do a little solo line. And so that's what really got me noticed in the field, was people heard that solo line in that song called Stranger, and it became a big #1 record for him.
Sure, and finally after that you were rewarded with equal billing with Johnny Duncan on a single entitled Come a Little Bit Closer, and didn't that go high up on the charts?
Yeah, that was a very important record too. And I was very fortunate to be featured on some of his very special works. And so I have to say a lot of thanks for him to get me started in that respect.
And from there, you gained a recording contract with Columbia Records, and I believe you remained there for about 10 years or so.
I think I was on the label about 12 years.
Oh, 12
on
years?
Columbia Records. Yeah, I think so.
Starting around like in the late 70s, 77, would that be right?
Uh-huh.
And so you released your debut single in 1977, which was "What Are You Doing Tonight?"
Right.
And it just missed the top 20, but that's pretty well for a debut single, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say it is pretty good. I remember that producer. Excuse me, I'm starting up my car because I have to go to a meeting. But
oh, not a problem.
My producer was not sure what to do with my voice. He said that he had produced Tammy Wynette, and he said your vocal ability is so unusual. You could do all these different styles and these different sounds, and you're not like Tammy Wynette. I knew what she could do, and I didn't have to worry about it. But you're kind of complicated to me, so I thought that was pretty funny. He said that to me.
Sure. And but however, a collaboration with Charlie Rich on the song "On My Knees" became a #1 right around that same time too.
Yes, that was a really important record. I love that song, "On My Knees."
It's a fabulous tune. And
it was great to work with Charlie on that.
Sound so wonderful on all those records, all of your records.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. And 1980 came along, and after having success with such songs as "Please Help Me, I'm Falling," and "In Love with You," and "I'll Love Your Troubles Away," your producer, who was Billy Sherrill at the time, wasn't it?
Billy Sherrill, correct.
He sort of advised you to establish an identity by focusing on one style of music, which I guess you started to sing more ballads. I guess that was the style.
Yeah, I became a balladeer. Those were my best favorite songs.
Hello, Janie?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I just thought we lost you there for a second.
Okay, I'm on a cell phone, so it might be a little strange here and there. I'm in my car now.
Oh, sure, not a problem. I can hear you just fine. I just thought there that 1 second. But is there any particular reason why you decided to choose ballads opposed to more up-tempo songs to be identified with you?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I think just the content of the songs seemed stronger to me. The ballads, I don't know. I think my delivery was stronger on the ballads, and those turned out to be my favorites, and the strongest records I did were those.
Sure. You had really a breakout year in '81, where you landed 2 top 5 hits with "Down to My Last Broken Heart" and "I'll Need Someone to Hold Me When I Cry," and a few other ones. But then probably your breakthrough success came in 1982 through 1984, when you scored 6 #1 hits and such fabulous songs as "Don't Worry About Me, Baby," and I believe that had Ricky Skaggs on harmony vocals, didn't it?
He did. Ricky did the first 2 you mentioned, "I'll Need Someone to Hold Me" and "Down to My Last Broken Heart." That's his harmony on those songs. And yes, that was a great addition. He had just moved to town, and he was brand new on the scene.
Yeah, he's also a fabulous singer, and your voices sound so fabulous together on those tunes.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And, of course, "Ain't Easy Being Easy," which we played earlier, and "Tell Me a Lie," and "He's a Heartache," and just all sorts of fabulous songs that went to #1. And
They were very special. I was so fortunate to have good quality songs given to me by the producers.
Sure. And how did it feel to have all those #1 records?
It just felt surreal. I mean, it was just hard to believe. Of course, at the time, I was living in the moment. I was just operating on energy, and I had a lot of good guidance. I was following all of the leaders I was supposed to be following, and it all seemed to fall into place so well.
Sure. And it's probably worth mentioning that 3 of your #1s came from your 1982 album, "It Ain't Easy," which also became a very successful selling album itself.
Yes, it did. It was not a #1 album, but it was a big album.
And then you sort of eventually began to start to broaden your style to include more up-tempo stuff, and you still continued to have #1 records and top hit records and a fabulous song with Merle Haggard, "A Place to Fall Apart," and "She's Single Again." And you even recorded a tune with Larry Gatlin. Wasn't that in the late '80s, "From Time to Time"?
Yes, it was.
And that was a fabulous tune and very well received. And